Delivering pizzas isn't the best job in the world. The routine is always the same. Pick up the order, drive to the address, get paid, and return to the pizzeria. But some customers stick in your mind. And not for good reasons. There was one house in particular that ordered frequently. Always the same names. Henry and his wife, Martha. Most of the time, it was Martha who received the pizza. She greeted me with an exaggerated smile, lips painted a bright red, eyes wide as if surprised to see me every time. She tipped well, so I didn't mind. When Henry answered, he was polite but more reserved. A well-mannered, generous couple, I thought. Nothing out of the ordinary. But over time, something about them started to bother me. At first, I couldn't put my finger on it. Maybe it was the way Martha always made sure I was the one delivering the pizza, or how sometimes she took a little too long to open the door, like she was fixing herself up before answering. I didn't overthink it. She was just a peculiar customer. Until one night, everything changed. It was a Friday. The guys at the shop told me Martha had specifically asked for me to deliver their order. Nothing new. When I arrived, she answered the door with the same enthusiastic expression. But this time, she did something different.
Come inside. Henry's in the bathroom. I'll be there in a second.
I had never been inside before. I hesitated, but the house looked normal, clean, well lit. Nothing seemed off, so I stepped in. As soon as I crossed the threshold, I heard the unmistakable sound of a lock sliding shut. I turned around and saw Martha standing by the door, her smile different. It wasn't her usual one. This one was tense, lips pressed tightly together. Before I could say anything, she lunged at me. I didn't even have time to react. Her cold hands gripped my face as she pressed her lips toward mine. I shoved her back. She stumbled, breathing hard, eyes red and glassy. What the hell are you doing? She was married, and I wasn't interested, and Henry could come out at any moment, but she didn't seem to care. Her expression shifted in an instant. The desperation vanished, replaced by something else. Rage. She started sobbing, covering her face. I tried to calm her down, telling her it was okay, that we should just forget about it. But the way she cried, it was theatrical, exaggerated, unnatural. And then, suddenly, she stopped. She looked at me, dead in the eyes.
Henry, he's coming. He's going to be furious. Run!
I didn't hear anything, but something about the way she said it made my body tense up. I turned around, expecting to see him. There was no one behind me. The house was silent. I turned back to her and froze. Martha was no longer on the floor. She stood up, but something about her was different. Her fingers pulled at her hair, and in one swift motion, she yanked the wig off. Beneath it, her scalp was bare, pale. Then, she wiped a hand down her face, smearing the makeup, revealing rougher, more masculine features. Her facial structure remained the same, but now, somehow, it was completely different. The voice that came out of her mouth wasn't Martha's. How dare you? My stomach lurched. My mind couldn't process it. I stepped back, but it was too late. Henry, Martha, whoever the hell this was, grabbed me by the throat with terrifying strength. I clawed at his grip, gasping for air. His fingers dug into my skin, tightening. My vision blurred at the edges. I tried kicking, thrashing, anything to break free, but his grip didn't loosen. His eyes, once wide with fake kindness, were now filled with something else. Hatred. My lungs burned, my vision darkened. Henry's breath was hot and ragged against my face. He wasn't speaking, wasn't explaining. He was just choking the life out of me. With the last bit of strength I had left, I managed to drive my knee into his stomach. He grunted, grip loosening just enough for me to twist free. I fell to the ground, gasping for air, my throat aching. He stepped forward, towering over me. His lips curled back, revealing clenched teeth. His voice was deeper now, filled with venom.
You think you can just reject her? You think you can just leave after hurting my wife?
I scrambled to my feet and bolted down the hallway. My mind raced. Where was the exit? The front door was locked. I turned sharply and ran into the kitchen. I needed a weapon. Anything. My hands closed around a knife. Henry appeared in the doorway, breathing heavily. His expression twisted with rage. He lunged at me. I swung the knife and buried it in his shoulder. He didn't scream. He just groaned, his body shuddering. But he didn't stop. He gripped the handle and pulled it out, blood dripping down his arm. I backed away as he took slow steps forward, his breathing uneven, eyes wild. I didn't wait to see what he'd do next. I shoved past him and sprinted toward the back door, yanking it open and stumbling outside. I ran to my car, heart pounding so hard I thought it would explode. My hand shook as I fumbled for my keys, breath hitching with every second lost. I glanced at the house. Henry stood in the doorway, blood dripping from his shoulder, his eyes locked onto mine. He didn't run. He didn't scream. He just watched. The engine roared to life, and I slammed my foot on the gas, tires screeching as I sped away. My hands were trembling. My throat burned. I kept looking in the rearview mirror, expecting him to chase me. But he never did. I went straight to the police. At first, they didn't believe me. Then, when they searched the house, they found it. Wigs, costumes, makeup kits. Henry and Martha never existed as separate people. They were the same. They arrested Henry, or whatever his real name was. He never resisted. He never said a word. He just stared at me as they shoved him into the squad car. I don't deliver pizzas anymore. I got a different job. But sometimes, when I drive at night, I see faces in the crowd that look just like his. It's not possible. I know that. But sometimes, when I close my eyes, I see that stretched out grin, the red lips, the wide and blinking eyes, coming after me.
Hey guys, we noticed that only a small portion of you are subscribed to the channel. If you really enjoy our stories, please follow us and like the video. It's free and it really helps us a lot to keep growing. We upload videos daily and interact a lot with our community, as we upload stories that you recommend us, and once a month, we upload your own stories. And to those of you who are already subscribed, we appreciate all your likes, comments, and your constant support. You are as much a part of SSG Animations as we are. And now, back to the video.
Working at Grant's Diner was never anyone's dream. It was a place that paid little and demanded too much. The boss, Jonathan Grant, was a maniac perfectionist with an unpredictable temper. If a dish was late by a minute, he humiliated the waiter in front of everyone. If a customer complained, the cook received a threat of being fired. I worked in the kitchen. It wasn't a great job, but at least it paid for the rent. In all the chaos, there was one thing that made those miserable hours bearable. Olivia. She was a waitress, and over time we got close, eventually becoming a couple. We tried to keep it a secret, but someone was bound to find out, and when Jonathan did, things became unbearable. Jonathan didn't say anything at first. No suspicious glance, no passive-aggressive remarks. He just waited. Then one morning, he called me into his office and fired me with no reason. I didn't argue. I knew there was no point. That night, Olivia and I talked, and she decided to quit the next day. She didn't want to work for someone that's sick. I went to pick her up after closing. She hadn't answered my messages, but I assumed she was busy. I leaned against the alley wall, waiting for her to come out. The restaurant was dark, except for the light in the office. Then a scream shattered the silence. My heart pounded. Olivia! There was no doubt. I ran to the door, but it was locked. I pounded on it. Olivia! Are you there? Another scream, louder this time. I kicked the door as hard as I could, but nothing. I ran around the building and saw the back door slightly open. I rushed inside it without thinking. The restaurant was silent except for the muffled gasps coming from the office. Every step felt like I was walking into a trap. The silence wasn't natural. It was a kind of quiet that made your stomach twist. My hands were shaking as I reached for the office door. I pushed it open. Jonathan was on top of Olivia, one hand around her throat and the other one holding down her wrist. Her face was red, trying to silently scream. Her eyes were wide, pleading. Jonathan's face was twisted with pure rage. His breathing was heavy, almost animalistic. "Get off of her, you psycho!" Jonathan turned his head towards me. His eyes were wild, his expression blank yet filled with something terrifying. He didn't hesitate. He lunged at me like a rabid dog. Jonathan slammed into me with a force I wasn't prepared for. I stumbled backward, hitting a shelf and knocking down everything. The sharp edge of a metal tray cut into my back, but I barely felt it. I scrambled to my feet, Olivia coughing behind me, trying to catch her breath. Jonathan grabbed a knife from his desk. He gripped it so tightly that his knuckles turned white. His expression didn't change. It was like something inside him had snapped, like he wasn't human anymore. I backed away, but he advanced. Slow, deliberate steps. The blade caught the dim light of the office, reflecting into my eyes. He wasn't rushing. He was enjoying this. I bolted towards the kitchen, grabbing a cast iron pan from the counter. The moment he stepped through the doorway, I swung. The knife hit the pan, sending sparks flying. He didn't stop. He was relentless. I swung again, but he dodged it. He dove his knee into my stomach. I collapsed to the ground, gasping for air. He raised the knife high. I rolled away just in time, the blade stabbing into the tile where my chest had been. I kicked his legs from under him. He hit the floor with a grunt, but was up in seconds. He wasn't slowing down. He wasn't scared. He was hunting. Jonathan moved like a machine, completely unbothered by pain or exhaustion. He lunged at me again, his knife aiming straight at my face. I barely ducked in time, feeling the blade slice the air inches from my skin. I grabbed the metal pot and threw it at his head. It hit him, but he didn't even flinch. He grabbed my arm and twisted it behind my back. Pain shot up to my shoulder. I felt his breath on my neck as he whispered in my ear, "You ruined it. You ruined everything. She wants to quit because of you." Then Olivia struck him from behind with a bottle of glass. The impact made him stagger, but he didn't fall. He turned to her, fury in his eyes. He reached for her, and I took the chance. I tackled him, sending both of us crashing into the counter. The knife scattered across the floor. We both lunged for it, but he was faster. I barely rolled out of the way as he slashed at me. The blade cut into my arm, and warm blood dripped all over the floor. My vision blurred because of the pain, but I forced myself to stand. He grinned, raising the knife again. I grabbed the chair and swung it into his legs. He stumbled, and Olivia jumped into his back, clawing into his face. He roared in frustration, throwing her off like she weighed nothing. He turned to her, and I knew he was going to kill her. I grabbed the frying pan and smashed it into his head with every ounce of strength I had left. This time, he fell. Olivia and I didn't waste a second. We ran out to the front door, but it was locked. Behind us, Jonathan groaned. He was getting up again. He pressed a button and talked with the speaker. "I'm being attacked. Come now!" There was sounds of footsteps outside. The security guards burst in just as Jonathan grabbed Olivia again. They saw everything. One of them grabbed me, thinking I was the problem. "It's not me, it's him!" Then, Jonathan did the unthinkable. Instead of trying to run, he lunged at Olivia again with a knife. The guards hesitated for a second, then rushed him. They tackled him to the ground, pinning his arms. He kicked and screamed like a rabid animal. One of the guards punched them in the face, finally knocking him out. One of them turned to us, panting. His face was pale. "We knew he was bad, but never thought he'd do this." The police arrived minutes later. Jonathan was dragged out in handcuffs, still screaming, still furious. He blamed us. He said we ruined everything. I didn't say a word. Neither did Olivia. We gave our statements and left as soon as they let us go. We didn't look back. There was nothing left to see. When we got to my car, Olivia broke down. I didn't try to comfort her. I knew there was nothing I could say to make this better. I started the engine and drove away. I didn't know where we were going. I just knew we had to get as far away as possible from that place.
I hate dating apps. I've always hated them, but after what happened, I'll never touch one again. It started as a normal night. I swiped through profiles while lying on my bed, half bored, half curious. Then I saw him. Ethan. Clean cut, nice smile, not too flashy. He messaged first. He was funny, direct. We talked for hours that night. A few days later, he asked me out. I hesitated, but said yes. We met at a small bar downtown. In person, he was just as charming. He made me laugh. He paid attention to what I said, and he didn't give off any weird vibes. When he walked me to my car, I felt safe. So when he asked to see me again, I didn't even think twice. The second date, we went to a restaurant. Then a third date, a movie. He never pressured me. He played the long game, made me trust him. By the fourth date, I thought I had met someone real, someone different. I had no idea what was coming. We were sitting at a diner late at night when he asked if I wanted to take a walk. There was a park nearby, mostly empty at that hour. I hesitated, but agreed. The place was quiet, just a few streetlights casting dim circles on the pavement. We walked for a while, making small talk. Then something changed. Ethan stopped responding normally. His sentences got shorter. His tone was off. He kept glancing around like he was checking if we were alone. I started feeling uneasy. I reached into my purse, gripping my pepper spray. He noticed. "You don't trust me?" "It's just a habit." He didn't respond right away. Then he smiled, a different kind of smile. Cold, like he knew something I didn't. My instinct screamed at me to leave, but before I could say anything, he grabbed my wrist. Not hard, just enough to make it clear. "Let's sit for a bit." I wanted to say no, but my voice didn't come out. He led me to a bench. I told myself to stay calm, but I wasn't ready for what happened next. The silence was thick. Ethan sat too close, his knee pressed against mine. My pulse pounded in my ears. Then he spoke, his voice low. "You know, you're really easy to predict." Before I could react, he grabbed my throat and pushed me back onto the bench. His grip tightened. I clawed at his hands, kicked at his legs, but he was stronger. My purse fell and I heard the faint clatter of my pepper spray hitting the pavement. I gasped for air, my vision blurring. His eyes, empty, watched me struggle. He wasn't just attacking me. He was enjoying it. My nails dug into his skin, but he didn't flinch. His face remained blank, calculated. My lungs screamed for air. The edges of my vision darkened. His fingers pressed deeper, his weight crushing me against the bench. My legs flailed, but every kick was weaker than the last. Then he spoke again, almost amused. "You thought I was different, didn't you?" He let go just long enough for me to suck in a desperate breath, then slammed my head back against the wood. Stars exploded behind my eyes. I barely registered the sensation of my body sliding onto the ground. The cold dirt scraped against my skin. Above me he loomed, head tilted, observing. "You're not going anywhere." I thrashed, using every bit of strength to push him off, but he barely moved. His fingers dug into my skin. My lungs burned. I needed to do something, fast. I shifted my weight and slammed my knee into his side. He grunted, loosening his grip just enough. I twisted away, fell to the ground, and scrambled for my purse. Ethan didn't hesitate. He grabbed my ankle and yanked me back. My face hit the pavement, my lips split open. The metallic taste of blood filled my mouth. Pain flared across my ribs as he pressed his knee down hard. His breathing was steady, measured, like he had done this before, like he had control. He leaned in, voice quiet. "Scream all you want. No one's coming." Tears stung my eyes, but I kept fighting. My fingers scraped against the pavement, trying to grab anything. His grip tightened around my arms, pinning them. He was toying with me now, letting me think I had a chance before crushing it. Then I felt him pull my hair, lifting my head. My scalp burned. His breath was hot against my ear. "You shouldn't have done that." I was on my stomach. Ethan pressed his knee into my back, pinning me. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. My arms flailed, grabbing at anything. My fingers brushed against something cold and smooth. The pepper spray. I wrapped my hand around it and twisted the cap open. Ethan grabbed my wrist, trying to yank it away, but I turned my body just enough and aimed blindly at his face. A sharp hiss, then a scream. His hands let go instantly. He fell back, clawing at his eyes. I gasped for breath, stumbled to my feet, and ran. My vision swam, my body ached, but I didn't stop. I sprinted toward the nearest street lamp, toward any sign of life. Footsteps pounded behind me. He wasn't down. He was coming. My legs burned, my breath came in short, ragged gasps. The street ahead felt miles away. My feet hit the curb just as I heard him curse in frustration. A final desperate grab at my wrist missed by inches. I didn't look back. My feet pounded against the pavement. I ran until my lungs felt like they'd burst. I spotted a gas station ahead. Bright lights. A man standing outside, smoking. I ran straight to him, breathless. My voice came out hoarse. "Help! Call the police!" The man stared at me, confused, but when he saw my torn shirt, my bruised arms, he grabbed his phone. I turned back toward the park, expecting Ethan to be right behind me, but he wasn't. The darkness stretched out, empty. He was gone. But I knew better. He wasn't gone. He was watching. The police took my statement. They searched the park. No sign of Ethan. They checked his Tinder profile. Deleted. His number? A burner phone. The name he gave me? Fake. They never found him. For weeks I barely slept. Every noise made me jump. Every shadow made my stomach twist. I stopped using dating apps. Stopped going out at night. Stopped feeling safe. But what haunts me most isn't what happened. It's what could have happened if I hadn't found the pepper spray in time.